Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and today we're watching Rogue. In fact, participating in Rogue, the 250 million power player getting zeroed. And yes, Rogue is their name, but no, they didn't exactly go rogue. This player is in our own kingdom, and we're zeroing them because they didn't participate in the KVK. In fact, I don't even know that they have KVK technology, and we'll go look at the stats from the rally and the garrison to double check that that is in fact the case. The thing about a kingdom like 254, which is where I play, is that literally everybody is expected to show up and fight, and it is quite possibly the most competitive, certainly it's one of the most competitive kingdoms in the game. So you don't want to migrate here unless that's what you want to be on the team for. And by the way, if you want to be on the team in 254, the link will be in the description. Everybody participates, or, well, you can see the door or see yourself out. And if you don't see yourself out, we'll help you out. And by the way, for players that weren't able to participate in this KVK and they let us know what was going on, right? Like, that's a different situation. This is a case where there really hasn't been communication, I think, on the part of this player as to why they weren't participating or helping and why they, what they're going to be doing after the KVK. So anyways, all that to say, they needed to be zero so we could get a good migration of people in that are actually here to help. So again, links in the description for the migration Discord for 254. And also, if you're interested in migrating to a kingdom that is very fierce and competitive, but also is younger, so it's a newer kingdom, you could be a lower power player and I think see a lot of success, consider my restart kingdom. That also will be linked in the description of this video. You can go to the migration Discord and just check it out. You don't even have, no obligation. Check it out, right? I think I showed you the cool part of the rally sequence up at the start. So instead, what we're going to do now is jump in game and I'll show you all the reports. We started these things off with XY Nevsky, and we finished it off with Attila Takeda. Now, as you can see, it took over a dozen rallies to actually fully zero this player, whose name is actually Rogue. And they started at over 250 million power. And what I want to mention here is that I did this from my farm. Because my main account is above the Imperium burden, it didn't make sense for me to lose troops on my main, when I could just lose the troops from my farm. So here we are on my farm account, and let's start with the first rally. We set this rally right away when their shield had dropped. We actually end up canceling this rally in order to get more people involved and to actually finish them off. This player had been bubbled for the majority of KVK, by the way. They kind of knew, I think, that this was coming, and we hit them in a window where their bubble was down. So the first rally here, 1.3 million to 1.7 million dead troops. That is a 9 million power loss for us and a 22.7 million power loss for them. That is in part because we also filled up their hospital. This is XY Nevsky in the rally, and Zenobia with YSS in the garrison. If we get a look at the troop buffs here, freaking tragic, bro. You can see here that Bunny has obviously great stats set up and great support skills. If we get a look at Rogue, however, they, I guess, had automatically placed on their support skills the YSG support skill. This is a heroic anthem KVK where you can pick and unlock support skills from other commanders, and also a healing ability, the Mutineer. Oh, so bad. Pelagius healing ability, GG. I think that's the Pelagius one, right? Anyways, if we get a look at the stats here, do they actually have equipment on their Xeno? At 163 infantry attack, 188 defense, and 78.5 health, they might actually have gear on because they're in no alliance. They have no alliance-based stats. It could be. I'm not entirely sure offhand, but you would expect if it was full infantry gear that the stats will be way higher. So maybe they have no gear on at all. Either way, this is a bad situation for them. The right garrison with no equipment is still bad. Not being online is obviously a catastrophe. And it actually took us a very long time to do this entire zeroing from start to finish. You can see here this first rally started at 4:29 UTC. So it started pretty late at night for me. And as we go through this, it's going to take over an hour to actually get this job done. The next report, 8.6 million power loss for us to 28.3 million power loss for them. XY Nevsky, this is the rally you saw in the video, I think. I mean, this rally freaking slaps, man. It's just absolutely disgusting. Oh, and by the way, if you wanted to see the troop composition in her city, here is what we're looking at. 6.5 million infantry. They are the Viking civilization. 300,000 T4 infantry. 581,000 T5 Siege, 5.5 million T5 Archers. We're looking at 6.3 million T5 Cavalry, 92,000 T4 Siege units, 169,000 T4 Archers, and 671,000 T4 Cavalry. They had actually a shocking amount of T4, and in my estimation, it's a mistake at a power level this high to have any T4 at all. You don't need them for literally anything. Just upgrade into T5. That's what I think you should be doing there. And so that is what that report looks like. Absolutely freaking disgusting. That was the first one. Here was the second one. Now comes this is maybe the third or the fourth hit. There were, again, a couple of these rallies I actually couldn't get into because so many people started to participate. This was late at night, fired it off like a notification as soon as we figured out they were unbubbled. Anyways, 1 million dead for us, 2.3 million dead for them. Savage, 6.1 million power loss to the 22.9 million power loss. You can see here we're filling with a ton of T4 from farms, taking very minimal damage here to ourselves and inflicting pretty insane damage against them. And then the next rally is still XY with Nevsky, looking at 850,000 dead to 1.9 million dead, 5.1 million power loss for us, and 18.8 million power loss for them. Absolutely freaking disgusting. The next rally is another XY with Nevsky, 583,000 dead for us, 1.5 million dead for them. It takes a very long time to zero a player of this size. That is 3.6 million power loss for us and 14.9 million power loss for them. And then we switch things up to Attila Takeda. So in order to keep the power and the pressure on, we switch to Attila Takeda to inflict more dead troops. We lose more troops, they lose more troops. But we're trying to sort of accelerate the rate at which we're getting this done because we really don't want them to come online once they get down to like 150 million power, which I think is what they're at this point, and then just bubble. That would just be a disaster. By the way, for what it is worth, we are doing this right after KVK has ended, which means that every single troop is not going to the Hall of Heroes. In fact, we are in Lost Kingdom, although we are in KVK. The troops all just are permanently dead. So at the end of the zeroing, they will have lost about, I mean, it's slightly less because they had actually a fair amount of T4s here, but like 20 million T5s, basically. I mean, they lost 200 million power over the course of this exercise. So in this particular rally, when we switched it up to Attila Takeda, we're looking at 748,000 for us, 1.8 million for them. The next Attila Takeda is 552,000 for us and 1.58 million for them. The next Attila Takeda is 348,000 for us and 1.25 million dead for them. And then 90,000 for us, 670,000 for them. That is a 552,000 power loss for us and 6.6 million for them. This is where it's getting really out of hand. 47,000 for us, 345,000 for them. They are basically out of troops. At this point, people, I think, swarm them down, or the final rally is just so fast, it's just ridiculous. GG and game over. I mean, the amount of money it would cost to train that many troops is honestly, like, probably in the realm of, and again, the cost goes up based on how fast you do this maneuver. If we're talking about doing this over a very long period of time, taking advantage of high leverage bundles, it's a different story. But to retrain them in a hurry, I mean, we're looking at still months of recovery probably, and in the realm of like $150,000 to $200,000 worth of troops just completely freaking gone. Now, again, you may be wondering, why did this happen? Kingdom 254, it's like no secret that everybody fights. Like, this is like one of the most serious kingdoms in the game about enforcing that rule, if not the most serious. And they didn't fight. And they didn't say why they weren't fighting, and they weren't communicative, and I guess people reached out, and they didn't respond. And so it's like, okay, there were, in this KVK, a absolutely jaw-dropping, shocking number of opportunities to participate without getting into the dynamics of the KVK at all. There was just, let me just say, a way above average number of opportunities to fight. And they didn't, and so here we are. And there's now even more room in the kingdom for people to join because of the Imperium burden shed during this exercise. They have, in fact, healed back their hospital, of all things. I might be able to find where they are here. I actually marked them down, so let's just go get a look and see where they are. So they did come online. I haven't seen how they have reacted yet to the fact that they've been zeroed, but I imagine they can't be all that happy. And by the way, this is sort of tragic that this happened to take place during the Mightiest Governor. But unfortunately, this was during the Mightiest Governor event. So they have come online, they have healed their hospital, and they now have a shocking number of points in the Mightiest Governor. It is what it is, man. We needed to zero this player for a migration. We couldn't wait. They were unbubbled. It was their mistake, and we took advantage of that mistake. And now I guess the other people are going to need to feed in order to get up there in points to pass this particular player. Is what it is. We have over 1,200 people, literally you can see for yourself, that have expressed interest in coming to 254. The link again is in the description of this video. And if you want a slightly less crowded kingdom with a younger atmosphere, right? They just entered the Season of Conquest. Consider my Restart Kingdom. I think that's a great place if you're newer to the game. Link will again be in the description down below for my Restart Kingdom as well. You should join us in one of these kingdoms that are very focused on fighting, if and only if you actually want to fight. Because otherwise, you're going to end up like Rogue and just be zeroed. And until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.